And do you have the new Slippy pulled up? We are going to be seeing KoDoRiN friend
Ooh.
John. This is going to be actually Marth versus
Yep.
Luigi. I don't remember last time I
Best friend
commentated one of
John,
these
if you were,
sets.
since KoDoRiN is kind of the known name here, best friend John is a Luigi from Texas. And I only know that because of Stude, who also used to be a Luigi from Texas.
Right on. I'm trying to find what pool these guys are in just so I can kind of see what the bracket looks like around them. But I imagine you don't see KoDoRiN losing a set before top 64 winners, so this is likely to make top 64 winners. I'm just trying to be able to confirm that for you guys.
There's definitely KoDoRiN favored. That being said, Luigi's always got some wild stuff. Like, am I wrong for saying that a Luigi set often is either the Luigi gets blown out, or it's just like, oh my god, what are they doing? I've never seen half of this before, and it just works.
Yeah,
and it's one of those, like, I know that none of this is true. I know this is all like, Luigi's not good. But sometimes you're just like, I wasn't ready for some like weird cheese, or I wasn't ready for like this thing to hit me. It happened. All right. Like,
that's always how it feels.
Complain about like, oh, this thing isn't true. That combo wasn't real. It's like, yeah, but it worked. So got to deal with it now. Hold it.
Exactly. That's always how it is playing against these mid tiers. You win the matchup, but they know the matchup better, and they're going to be exploiting things that you're not necessarily going to be prepared for a lot of the time. So I think the onus is often going to be on the higher tiered character like the Marth, the Fox, to be able to adapt and ensure that the cheese doesn't happen. If you avoid the cheese, then you probably win. But how much cheese can you avoid at the end of the day?
I think maining a character in that tier, it's you have to have your solid fundamental, like good movement, know your spacing, know your follow-ups, everything, and just that extra small layer of like, and I'm gonna throw out some every once in a while something I think you aren't ready for. I know that we were joking about me maining ices earlier, but like, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, if you knew what to do, you could invalidate this right now, but you didn't, and I killed you off of it, and you got to hold that.
Yeah, that's true. And man, I remember like commentating KoDoRiN at Shine 2019, and he was doing really well. He ended up playing HBox and taking game 1, and I was just like, who is this guy? And his rise since then has been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think out of overused phrase, but certainly works for KoDoRiN, is meteoric rise of just like every day. I feel like just keeps getting better, keeps taking bigger and like larger names. All right, BFJ loses that stock. Was trying to land on Randall, didn't quite hit it. Love the fireball to cover. It's going to make it really hard to get back. You know what we were saying about, like, it's on the onus of the top tier to really know, like, what works and what doesn't? Feels like he knows what works here, because we're not seeing Luigi, like, get some of the recoveries that I think often they'll get, even if they shouldn't be able to.
Right, yeah, this looks like a matchup that KoDoRiN feels fairly comfortable in. I think he's played Curve a lot, so I think he's going to be kind of a really, really tough out for BFJ. And I think this matchup in general is just not supposed to be one of Luigi's better ones. How is he supposed to approach if not wave dashing along the ground? At the same time, Marth has down tilt, so that's a really difficult problem to solve if you're Luigi.
It's the all of Luigi's movement. Marth has down tilt. Oh, yeah, you're right. Down tilt, and then the mix-up of retreating double fair. Short hop double fair does work. Almost had that. Instead, we're going to see maybe off the top? Yep, off the top.
This just feels surgical. Like, everything feels very... very purposeful. It
doesn't feel like Best Friend John is doing anything like wrong. Obviously, there's more mix-ups and there's levels to movement that they could be using. But like, nothing is crazy like, oh, there's not huge mistakes. It's just KoDoRiN being like, all right, I know that you can't... Luigi just cannot deal with this unless you really go for some nut stuff. And I'm just gonna keep punishing you for it. Another one.
Oh no!
The triple.
BFJ.
The triple. I'm sorry.
Damn. That was a little tough to watch at the end there, man. It's like getting dunked once is tough enough to end a game. Like it really never feels good getting spiked into the abyss by Marth. But like it happened 3 times.
Randall had your back, you still
yikes.
couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough
Randall
to come back
wanted
from.
To be a homie so badly, just wanted it.
I really don't even know, like, if I was Best Friend John's coach, what would you even tell him right now?
The thing is, this isn't like a situation with a lot of coaching, especially like a lot of the national conversation recently has been on like mid-set coaching, like what is the role of a coach in Smash?
Right.
Places where you can coach between sets, often it's a like, all right, you need to work on this thing better and just like really focus on your follow-ups at this percent, or like
this movement is real nice. If I was coaching him, I'd say, ooh, do that more.
But like a lot of the last game
take the ledge.
Wasn't anything huge about like, oh, BFJ, you need to go for these things. It was like your movement, and you need to be a little bit less predictable, and you need to have like more like extended punishes. Like it was a lot of small things over and over again.
It's also, you're playing a really, really good player who's going to take every single opening insanely far. So you're just going to have to be playing really, really well. The goal might not be beat KoDoRiN. It might be learn something, play as well as I can, and try to see if I can push myself for the future.
Yeah, it could very well be a like, all right, you've learned a little bit more about edgeguarding Marth, or you've learned a little bit more about flowcharts at this percent.
Yeah, and that was a really tough spot, man. He was getting swatted all the way across the stage. Fortunately for BFJ, he was able to get the ledge, but he's still having a tough time getting down. That barely won't kill at the top.
Be off the top. This will
that will though. And he had a nice first opening of this game, first minute or so. But we need to see a little bit more of that tricky movement to find those openings. Goes for the down B. KoDoRiN just happened to jump over it. I don't even think that was on purpose.
One of the big things about the wave dash heavy characters, so your Luigi and your Ices, is where they start the wave dashes. Because though their movement looks really scary, they're locked out of a lot of options for a solid minute there. About like, all right, they wave dash, they can't do anything. And there's a lot of times where Best Friend John is going for a wave dash, and KoDoRiN is just like, all right, time to hit you with my sword because I know you can't do anything there. So it's like, do you stay a little bit further out, or are you going to try to force more scuffle situations and get really in their face? It's not like there's a right or a wrong answer, but KoDoRiN's spacing on like trying to stay a certain distance away from Luigi so that they can punish all those options. He's playing it so well.
Yeah, and I think honestly his movement and general decision making has been fine.
All right, there we go.
The down Bs largely haven't been working, but he does have to do it for his own recovery at some point. Dash attack, F tilt. Yeah, at this point you just gotta side B and pray. Or let him come back.
I respect that. Like, that wasn't how to come back. That is I'm at 124 and you could just misfire right now.
We've all been there. That might be it. Fair won't quite kill.
That could be it.
He had his jump.
What is going on?
What?
Kind of getting a little BM here. Wants to finish that out with style.
Okay.
All right. Never mind. Eventually, like, fine. You're at 190. I guess I'll up tilt.
That felt a lot like last game in terms of how dominant it was between Skurzo and Younger, but it wasn't fast. It was a slow, methodical domination by KoDoRiN. Really good play, man. That's another player that's going to be likely making a very deep run in this tournament. And
easily a name
this is a really just super deep bracket, man. I mean, I don't know what the top 8 is going to look like. I don't think anybody does. But what I do know is that what we have next is one of the most creative Falco mains to be doing it in the modern era. Or may I even call it the postmodern era of Melee.